Welcome back, everyone. Today, we're going deep, really deep, into Trump's world.
His world.
Well, at least into one very specific chapter of it.
Oh, okay. Got it.
We're going to crack open Trump, the art of the comeback.
Yeah.
You know, we hear so much about Trump through the media, but this is a chance to hear his side of the story. Straight from the horse's mouth, as they say.
Directly from the source, yeah. And it's a fascinating time period, too, the early 1990s.
Oh, for sure. He was billions in debt, facing all that intense media scrutiny, personal setbacks. I mean, it was a real make-or-break moment for him.
Absolutely. A defining period.
So, paint the picture for us. Trump's empire's on the verge of collapse. He's got to pull off this monumental comeback. The question is, how did he do it?
Well, one thing that really stands out in the book is his absolute tenacity. He just keeps hammering home this idea of never giving up.
Never giving up, okay.
Yeah, staying passionate about your work, thinking positively. It's almost like a mantra for him.
A recipe for success, you could say. I remember this one analogy he uses from the boxing world. The fight between Meldrick Taylor and Julio Cesar Chavez.
Oh, yeah, I remember that one.
Taylor was winning for most of the fight, but in those last few seconds, Chavez just knocked him out.
Just like that.
And Trump's point is, you can't let up. You got to fight until the very end.
Right. You can't get complacent, even if you think you're ahead.
Because you never know when that knockout punch is coming.
Exactly. And it's a good lesson for anyone, really.
Yeah.
Stay focused, go the distance, because in business, things can change in an instant.
So true. So this ties into another key takeaway from the book, this idea of strategic flexibility. Trump wasn't afraid to switch gears, to change direction, if a deal wasn't panning out.
Absolutely. He talks about the importance of adapting to the circumstances, being willing to pivot, you know.
Not getting too attached to any one plan.
Right, exactly.
And you can really see this in how he dealt with the banks when he was in that financial turmoil, right?
Oh, absolutely.
He knew when to make concessions, when to compromise, without completely caving.
Sometimes you have to bend a little to avoid breaking completely.
Right. Right. And that's where relationships come into play. He really understood the power of connections.
Good time.
He talks a lot about leveraging his relationships, even with people he'd butted heads with in the past. It's almost like keep your friends close, but your enemies closer.
Well, he does have a knack for that. There's that great story about him playing golf with this banker who is giving him a really hard time.
Oh, yeah, I love that story.
And, you know, they're out on the golf course, and Trump's working his magic.
Classic Trump, right.
And wouldn't you know it, the banker's attitude totally shifts.
All it took was a round of golf.
Well, and maybe a little strategic charm on Trump's part, but the point is, they end up striking a deal.
It's a perfect example of how he used his personal connections to navigate really complex business situations.
He really understood the human element in business.
So we've got this picture of Trump as a fighter, a strategist, a master networker. But the book also delves into some of his specific comeback victories, the actual deals he pulled off.
Oh, definitely. And one of the most well-known is his turnaround of the Atlantic City casinos.
Those were in pretty dire straits back in the early 90s, weren't they?
Oh, yeah, hemorrhaging money. But he managed to pull them back from the brink through debt restructuring, attracting new investors.
Wait, back up a sec. He was losing millions and was okay with it.
Well, it shows you his risk tolerance, right?
That's one way to put it.
He knew that sometimes to win big, you have to be willing to lose big. But it wasn't just about gambling. He had a plan.
Well, he brought in Nick Ribas to handle the day-to-day operations.
Ribas was a seasoned casino guy.
Yeah, a real pro.
Yeah.
And this freed Trump up to focus on the bigger picture stuff, like negotiating with the bondholders.
And that's where Carl Icahn comes in.
Ah, Carl Icahn.
Yeah, Icahn had bought up a ton of Trump's casino bonds.
When they were dirt cheap, right?
Exactly. They were trading at a huge discount, which gave Icahn some serious leverage in the restructuring negotiations.
And Trump, being Trump, he had this ace up his sleeve.
What was that?
Years earlier, he'd chaired a charity dinner for Icahn, even though they weren't particularly close.
Interesting. So he was building relationships even when there wasn't an immediate payoff.
Exactly. And that goodwill paid off big time. Because Icahn ended up supporting Trump's restructuring plan, which ultimately saved the casinos.
It's a classic example of what goes around comes around.
So true. Building those relationships, even when you don't see an immediate benefit, can really pay off in unexpected ways. You just never know.
You never know, that's for sure. And this success in Atlantic City, it really propelled him forward. It was a springboard for his other victories, like buying 40 Wall Street.
Oh, that iconic skyscraper in New York City. I mean, he got an incredible deal on that, didn't he?
A steal, really.
Yeah.
Just $1 million for the entire building.
$1 million. Come on.
It shows his ability to spot those diamonds in the rough, those opportunities that others might miss.
He was a master at capitalizing on market downturns.
Oh, yeah. He had this knack for swooping in when everyone else was panicking and getting amazing deals.
But it wasn't just about buying low and selling high for him. He had this vision for 40 Wall Street.
He saw its potential, its historical significance. He wanted to make it a crown jewel in his empire.
It was about legacy, not just profits. And speaking of jewels, we can't forget Mar-a-Lago, his extravagant estate down in Palm Beach.
Ah, Mar-a-Lago. This is where we see a different side of Trump, the personal side. The book gets really personal here.
Oh, absolutely. He talks about his deep connection to the property, his family history there.
And his absolute determination to preserve it.
He went head-to-head with Palm Beach officials over zoning issues.
Oh, yeah, it was a battle royale.
Yeah.
But in the end, he got what he wanted.
He turned it into that exclusive private club.
Which is still a huge part of his life today.
I remember this one story he tells about inviting these 2 town council members who were really skeptical of his plans to a party at Mar-a-Lago.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
He's hinting at all the celebrities and powerful people who are going to be there.
Classic Trump, using the allure of social connections to sway people.
It worked, didn't it?
Like a charm, Mar-a-Lago became this magnet for the rich and famous.
Michael Jackson, Lisa Marie Presley, they were all there.
It became a symbol of Trump's comeback, his resurgence into the elite circles.
So as we dig deeper into the art of the comeback, we're starting to see these patterns emerge, these principles that drove his rise from the ashes.
It's fascinating, isn't it?
And it's pretty clear that these same traits would continue to shape his career trajectory in the years to come.
Absolutely. This comeback wasn't just about rebuilding his businesses, it was about rebuilding his image, crafting this narrative of a winner.
A survivor.
Exactly. And that sets the stage for everything that comes next.
Okay, now this is where it gets really interesting. Because the book isn't just about his deals and victories. It gives us this glimpse into his unique perspective on business and success.
He really emphasizes understanding the people you're dealing with.
Oh, yeah.
Figuring out, like, what makes them tick.
Their motivations.
Motivations, their weaknesses, their quirks, even.
Yeah, he's always thinking a few steps ahead, isn't he?
Totally. Like he's playing 4D chess or something.
And he's not afraid to use that to his advantage.
Especially when it comes to leverage.
Leverage is key for him.
Oh, he's a master of it.
Especially in real estate, right?
Oh, yeah.
But he's also aware of the risks.
He is, especially for people who don't really understand how it works.
He cautions against overextending yourself.
Oh, he's got to be calculating, you know?
Right, right. Because, some people see Trump as this reckless risk taker.
Yeah, but the book paints a more nuanced picture.
Right.
He's willing to take big gambles, sure, but they're calculated risks.
He's not just throwing money around. And it's interesting because he's actually pretty skeptical of the stock market.
He is.
He prefers tangible assets like real estate.
Bricks and mortar.
Bricks and mortar, exactly.
Something you can see, something you can control.
Something with real value.
Not just numbers on a screen.
He doesn't trust those Wall Street guys.
Nope.
Prefers to see, touch,
Something solid, something real.
Exactly. And you see that throughout the book, these little anecdotes that really bring his personality to life.
Oh, for sure.
Like that story about how he acquired the Miss Universe pageant.
Oh, yeah, that's classic Trump.
Classic Trump. He's in this meeting with Gustavo Cisneros, who also wants to buy the pageant.
Right.
And Cisneros, he makes this, kind of a rookie mistake.
What'd he do?
He asks Trump, straight up, how much are you willing to pay?
Ooh, showing his hand too early.
It's like showing all your cards before the game even starts.
That's a big mistake.
And Trump, being Trump, he pounces on it.
What'd he do?
He throws out a lowball offer.
Just to see how Cisneros would react?
Exactly. Just to test the waters.
Smart.
And then, boom, he swoops in and buys the pageant for a song.
Wow, that's incredible.
A masterclass in negotiation. He
saw Cisneros' weakness and he exploited it.
He played the game, and he played it well.
If you've ever been in a tough negotiation, you know that feeling.
Oh, for sure.
Of getting the upper hand.
It's exhilarating.
It is. And the book also touches on his views on litigation.
Okay.
He's had a lot of experience with lawyers and lawsuits.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And he's not shy about sharing his opinions.
He's very open about it.
Very candid about his frustrations with the legal system.
He thinks it's rigged.
Well, he sees it as full of frivolous lawsuits.
And ridiculous legal fees.
He even tells a story about this law firm that sent him this crazy bill.
What'd he do?
He slashed it.
Just like that.
Threatened to countersue.
Wow, he doesn't back down.
No, he doesn't.
And of course, we can't talk about Trump without talking about the press.
Oh, the press. That's a whole other can of worms.
Right.
But the book does offer some insight into his feelings about the media.
Yeah, he's got some pretty strong opinions.
He does. He calls out specific journalists
By name.
Accuses them of bias, talks about how he dealt with negative coverage.
He doesn't hold back.
Not at all.
Yeah.
It's a very raw, unfiltered look at his relationship with the media.
And it really sets the stage for how he would handle the press throughout his career.
Oh, absolutely. Those battles were just beginning.
So through all these anecdotes, all these personal stories, we get this, well, very complex picture of Trump.
Multifaceted, you could say.
We see his tenacity, his strategic thinking, his showmanship.
His flaws, too.
Yeah, his flaws. He's not perfect, that's for sure.
But he's fascinating.
Absolutely. And this book really gives us perspective that you don't always get from the media.
A behind-the-scenes look,
Yeah, and it helps us understand his rise to political prominence later on.
It's all connected, really.
It really makes you think how this period of struggle, of almost losing everything, might have shaped the Trump we know today.
It definitely shaped him, his worldview, his approach to, well, everything.
And it's really interesting because this comeback wasn't just about the businesses.
Right.
It was about his image, too.
Oh, absolutely.
The book is very conscious of public perception.
Very aware of how he's being portrayed.
And he's really trying to present himself as a winner.
A survivor.
Exactly. He uses the word greatness a lot.
When he's talking about his projects, yeah.
His goals, his aspirations, it's like he's trying to will himself back to a position of power.
Like he's manifesting it.
And you see this constant need for recognition.
For validation.
It sheds light on, I don't know, maybe why he's always sought the spotlight.
Why he needs to be at the center of everything.
It explains his fascination with celebrity, too.
Surrounding himself with powerful people.
As if their success somehow validates his own.
He's a big believer in the power of image.
And how perception can become reality.
Especially in the world of business and media, which he was navigating constantly.
So by the end of the book, he's not only back on solid financial ground.
Right.
He's back on top of the social ladder.
Throwing those lavish parties at Mar-a-Lago.
Rubbing shoulders with the elite.
Cutting deals.
With a triumphant return.
A vindication of his methods.
A testament to his self-belief.
He never doubted himself.
Never wavered. But it does make you wonder, doesn't it? About the other side of the story.
Right, because this is his version of events.
His carefully crafted narrative.
What about the people who were part of it?
The ones who worked with him, for him, even against him.
Exactly. Like, what about Ivana, his former wife?
She wrote her own book about their marriage and divorce, which probably offers a very different perspective.
Yeah, it would be fascinating to hear those other voices, those counter-narratives.
To get a more complete picture.
To see the full scope of the story.
That's something to think about, as you delve deeper into this period of Trump's life.
There's always more to uncover.
We've only just scratched the surface here. There's so much more to unpack in The Art of the Comeback.
It's a book that reveals a lot about his personality, not just his business acumen.
It offers valuable lessons about resilience, strategy, the power of believing in yourself, even if you don't agree with everything he does or says.
Even if you're not a Trump fan, there's something to be learned from his story.
It reminds us that even when we face setbacks, we can bounce back.
Reinvent ourselves.
And ultimately achieve success on our own terms. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into The Art of the Comeback.
We hope you found it insightful, thought-provoking, maybe even a little entertaining.
Until next time, keep learning, keep questioning, and keep exploring the world around you.
And remember, there's always more to the story.